4, I think. I know I have Hurts and Fields.
Oh, I'm still hurt to this day when I could have had Hurts, and instead I took Anthony McFarland.
I took Hurts in a lot of rookie drafts. I got him everywhere. I paid a little early for him, but I'm keeping it back.
Welcome to Beerfield, where sometimes when you want to start the show, you just gotta start the intro music and let everything else fall into line. I am your host at Beerfield Hop, Chris Hopper with 2 P's, joined by Chatty Cathy, Dan Thury, Beerfield Thury.
Chatty Cathy. Oh, thanks.
And Ryan Miner at Ryan Miner _FFB. Happy Tuesday.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
All right, cool.
It sounded so innocent, right? Hi, guys.
Hey.
This is my first time caller, long time listener.
Yeah.
First time listener, long time caller. Not sure how that works out.
First time caller, long time listener. I got it right.
We are presented by the FF Faceoff, fffaceoff.com. They got banned from Reddit this week, so clearly we're right at home.
Just pissing off all the gods, what we do.
Man. Charity or mental health podathon coming up here July 16th and 17th. By the way, get all the details on that at fffaceoff.com. Going to be a good time raising money for the Hiddenhurst Family Foundation. Be sure to check out the guys' stories on fffaceoff.com as well as we post. All right. I feel like I normally have a better intro than this, but I really don't, so we're just going to cut to the chase. We're doing the same thing we did last week. We're going to run through some OTA stuff, some coach speak, some are we buying this, are we selling that, use some of Dan's questions that he had written up for a guest that had to unfortunately back out, so get well soon. I know I did.
You sound a lot more like you sound like you're ready. You're ready to make up.
I'm myself
from
again.
Last week.
I'm myself again. That's what this is about.
He's in the best shape of his life right now.
Yeah, best shape of my life. That's actually what I named the show too. So we got to make sure we get that phrase in at least 40 times.
Challenge accepted.
The best shape of my life. All right. Well, since I don't have a lot to babble about.
What's fueling Beerfield?
Three-minute intro has got to be a new record for us.
That's actually pretty impressive.
Oh, it's because I didn't do social media. At Beerfield on Twitter. Beerfield Podcast on everywhere podcasts are. And YouTube. Dan, what are you drinking?
That was the Denzel Mims of intros right there.
Best shape of its life.
Best shape of his life. And it only lasted for 3 minutes. I am actually drinking. So I was out in Galesburg, Illinois today, doing a little ride with one of our wholesaler reps out there. We stopped at this event center / microbrew. It's called Reserve Artisan.
Artisan?
Oh my God, artisan. Reserve artisan. Oh my, words are tough. You got me thrown off.
It's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. So the brewery is actually just called Reserve, and
So where did artisan come from?
Because it's on the can, but it's just supposed to be Reserve. So I talked with I talked with the brewmaster for a while. They will also selling them some distilled beer. I am drinking their Belgian Double. Wow. 7.2%. It's called Wild Uenta.
You struggled through that. It wasn't nearly as smooth as my intro.
That was bad. That was all over the place.
Pretty bad. Ryan, what you got? More Miller Lite?
No, I changed it. I went back, to something different. I got New Belgium Voodoo Rangers Juice Force IPA.
Cool.
coming in at 9.5%. So we'll see how this goes.
Ryan's bringing all the nationwide beer under the show. I'm over here. We're always, drinking something super local, and Ryan's like, I got New Belgian.
We needed more nationwide beer on the show, though, because people can actually get that.
We probably do.
And I like to mix and match it up a little bit too. Go from good beer to an everyday beer. It all depends on the kind of mood I'm in.
It's National Bourbon Day. That was not planned, but it's National Bourbon Day. So,
man.
So,
I have bourbon. I haven't drank it.
I'm drinking bourbon again. I have Law's Whiskey House Bottled and Bond 8-year 4 grain. So this is the big brother of the Law's that you had down here, Dan. It's about 5 years older. So
I need to find one because I haven't been able to find that at Benny's. Not the 8 bottle and bond, but just a regular
8 years been flying around down here in St. Louis too. Law's Whiskey House is out of Colorado. I believe it is Denver. So they're out of Denver, Colorado. 4 grain bourbon, so that's going to be both wheat and rye, as well as corn malted barley bourbon. National Spirit of America for those that don't know. So yeah. Bourbon being uniquely American, National Bourbon Day, going bourbon 2 weeks in a row. So, let you know for review. By the way, shout out to my buddy JT for this bottle. He flew in for Pursuit Palooza down in Louisville, not last weekend, 2 weekends ago with me. Was that 2 weekends ago already? No, it was last weekend. It was last weekend. Flew down here for that. Opened it up with me knowing he couldn't take it back, so I got the rest of the bottle.
Aw.
Super nice of him. All right, let's get into some of what's flying around training camp. First off, we'll start out in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. Mitch Trubisky well ahead of Kenny Pickett in the quarterback competition. Do you expect that to remain the same? Because it sounds like it's not even close right now.
Yeah, I've always expected him to start. I don't know a lot of the lats, but he'll start week 1.
I think he actually can hold on for the whole season, too.
Yes, me too. I'm on that. Mr. Trubisky holding out the whole season. Like, I still fall back to that 2003 year when the year they fell off. That was the year they drafted. The next year, that's when they drafted Ben Roethlisberger. So they haven't had a losing season since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, if you're betting on a year for Mike Tomlin to finally have a losing season in Pittsburgh, like, this would be the best year to bet on it. That's why I don't think Mitch is going to make it throughout the entire season. That defense is going to have to play up. We may see a much more improved Mitch. We've definitely seen, pretty good flashes of him, and we could definitely get that in Pittsburgh. It's all based, I think, on where the team is at that point. If they've lost 6, 7, out of 10, like, it just makes no sense to play him if he's not the long-term answer. So I don't think he's going to play the full season, but I do think he'll start week 1.
I think he starts week 1 and plays the whole season. I think that there's enough talent between, Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson and bringing in Pickens, enough talent still on that defense with that pass rush and being actually in a decent system. He obviously, was well liked and well revered in Buffalo. Never got the chance to see the field backing up Josh Allen, but we know now that Nagy's system was not great. And, you give him a defense and Allen Robinson, and he had a winning record. So he made 2 playoff appearances. Granted, one of those gets the COVID asterisk, but still, he made 2 playoff appearances with that. So I see no reason why the Steelers can't be in the wild card hunt with Mitch Trubisky as a starter as long as he plays, up to the level he did, say, as a rookie.
So they do get a little bit lucky. So the AFC North gets to face the NFC South and the AFC South. They get both South divisions. Obviously, NFC South is a true cakewalk. They do play a number 2 in their division schedule, so they'll get the Chargers or the Raiders and the Patriots, and then the rest of the South.
Raiders are a beatable team.
Raiders are definitely a beatable team.
As are the Patriots, for that matter.
They're about par. I think they're better offensive weapons, but I'll bank on the quarterback. That's, the team that just, they both technically got there.
Yeah.
God, Pittsburgh had no fucking shit. No, I'm not there. I don't think they make the playoffs, and I think at some point,
I don't know
We'll
if they
see
make the
Trubisky get
playoffs,
benched.
but I think they have a winning record.
I just don't see no point to play Trubisky if they're not in the playoff hunt. Like he's not a long.
I think they'll be in the wild card hunt though until the end is the problem there, especially with 3 wild cards.
Yeah.
I think that they'll be in the wild card hunt, and that's why he holds
Yeah,
it.
I don't know if that's the best decision to make, but it's that team. It's so hard for me to view that them being able to compete with the best teams in that conference, and you're not doing your team a true service by playing Trubisky.
But you don't have to compete with the best teams in that conference to be in the playoff hunt. You have to compete with the 7th best team in that conference to be in the playoff hunt.
I understand that, but do we really think that Pittsburgh's going to be actually competitive in this conference? And do we think that Trubisky is going to be the long-term answer there?
I don't think he's a long-term answer, but like they were competitive with whatever was left of Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
because like he couldn't even throw the ball, so Trubisky can definitely throw the ball. And plus, there's a lot more. It's better around Trubisky now than it was around Roethlisberger.
I mean,
in a way, right?
Yeah,
it's maybe. Probably. I mean, it's almost the identical team. It should be better offensive line. It should be more cohesion with them in year 2 with this makeshift line that they've put together. And you substitute Juju in for Pickens. So you substitute Pickens in for Juju.
7 teams that I see that are potentially better than Pittsburgh. So they're right there. They're not like looking at it on paper just at the beginning of the season. They're not like team number 12. They're like team number somewhere between 7 and 9, depending on who you are. So
yeah, I'm not disagreeing that they don't think there could be some points where they could be competitive. Would you guys rather, like, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, would you rather see your team barely make the playoffs with Trubisky or see what you have and pick it at some point this season?
I'd say that if Pickett is so far off that right now Trubisky is way better than him and that stays the same, then I'd want to not force Kenny Pickett into NFL situations right now. And, I want Pittsburgh's going to want to see their team compete. Even if it's not for the number 1 seed in the conference, they're going to want to see their team compete. They're not going to want to mail in a year so you can get Kenny Pickett some starts. And it's going to be real hard for them to, I think, be mathematically eliminated anywhere before like the last 2 weeks, to where you're just plugging and playing Kenny Pickett.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't think any team is mathematically eliminated by week 8 or 9. I mean, don't bet that. I mean, I'm probably wrong there. There's probably a way, but
the Texans will be. But that's besides the point.
I mean, fuck, Cleveland could be without Watson. So
and actually, like Trubisky's contract is very team friendly too. Looking at it right now, he's only a $3.66 million cap hit right now for this year, and the next year it's 10.6 with a 2.625 dead cap. So they could actually go 2 years with him and wait even put a Pickett in next year instead.
Oh man, that just feels like such a waste. Like, I mean, if he was younger and far more, toolsy talents, I mean, sure, but he's a 5th-year senior. Like, how much more outside of seeing just NFL-ready defenses? Like, how much more improvement is he going to be?
Even if they put him at backup next year, just as like the veteran presence, it doesn't cost him much either. The $8 million base salary.
Yeah. I mean,
for Trubisky, yeah.
I definitely agree that it was a great. I mean, we talked about it was a great signing by Pittsburgh when they made, and I still think it is. Even if Trubisky plays only 2 or 3 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, so he gets $2 million plus per playoff, or that's his incentive.
That would be an incentive, yeah.
Yeah. So $40 million. Now 10% plus playoff, $2.5 million.
It does help that Cleveland.
It's very incentive heavy,
as it should be. I mean, he was the number 2 overall pick. Granted, we all make fun of the pick now, but there's a lot of people that were on Trubisky that I'm at the QB1 in that spot. Like there is a good reason. So he has proven, and he's been in the playoffs. He's shown flashes. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
maybe he's Carson Wentz. Maybe we get some. He just puts it all together for 1 year.
All right, so I read it wrong. So it's annual playing time incentive, so 60% all the way 80%. So he gets $1 million plus $1 million 2023 roster bonus added if he plays 60%. 70 percent gets $1.5 million plus $4 million 2023 roster bonus, and plus $2.5 million if they make the playoffs. And then 80% is $2 million plus playoffs, plus additional $4 million.
All right, I think we got it. I think we've beaten this fucking horse down. Just put out of his misery, Hopper. Just put the horse out of his misery.
And Pro Bowl 250,000.
Did you spell boobs on your calculator? Is that what you did?
I did.
80085.
Just kept it going.
I can't see
It's
it.
too dark, but yes, that's exactly
too dark.
It's exactly what I did. It says boobs.
It's the same boobs. God, Jesus.
And that's the show.
See you guys next time.
Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy hopes Dak will have more rushing opportunities. So, does Dak have more rushing opportunities? And does that do anything for you, even if he does?
Oh.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. What did he have last year? So
He was
last,
definitely more tame last year, but that was him coming off of his ACL injury, so I'm not surprised by that.
it was an ankle.
Or ankle, that's right. Devastating ankle injury.
2018 was his peak year. He had like almost 400 attempts or something like that. Not 400 attempts.
He did not run the
40
ball
yards.
400 times. He
Yeah.
had
No,
He's
he
the
almost
Larry
40 yards.
Johnson of quarterbacks.
No, it was 2017. He had 357 yards and 6 touchdowns. 2018, 305, but that was his peaking carries was 75. He had 48 last year, which was right in line with where he was in 2019. So I don't think they're going to double his carries. I think that any increase is probably negligible there.
He's always been fueled by touchdowns. Like it's a great offense with a lot of scoring opportunity, and that's what you're going to get from them this year. So he's Josh Allen light in that sense, where he's not gonna carry you with his rushing yard production. It's more so there's always that game where he'll get 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns and just win you that week. And he's seems to be of decent value this year. He's kind of back down to where he was just a couple years ago, where he was everyone's favorite breakout candidate or sleeper QB, as you say.
Which he threw 600 times last year. So you couple that with 50 rushing attempts, 200 to 300 yards, and 3 to 6 touchdowns on the ground. Yeah, I'm all for that.
He'll be right along there. I think he's probably going after her. It's him and Eric. Guys, if you don't want to spend up on QB in your single QB leagues, Dak, Hurts, and those guys are Russ potentially guys you should target.
Let's see. So PPR, ADP. I didn't have any of this pulled up because I'm a bad host.
I was playing with rankings, and I got him at QB 9 right now. Ahead of him is Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. I have Jalen Hurts at 4.
He's currently
Patrick. That's good.
He's currently going ahead of Russell Wilson in the 7th round, ahead of Russell Wilson, behind Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford.
I was spot on. Those 3 quarterbacks, and that was the range I was expecting them to be.
Yeah,
and nearly in that same exact ranking. I thought maybe Prescott would be over Hurts, but I think with the moves in the offseason and just the fact that Gallup is still, they're not predicting potentially mid-November for his return. So,
all right.
That's for those other quarterbacks ahead of them, just because of the way they can run the ball, the Konami code.
Yeah, I would much rather have Hurts and Prescott, even Wilson to an extent over. I mean, the fact that Rodgers is going in the 6th round. Jesus fucking he has got to be the easiest avoid quarterback this year. Like, there's nothing to like about Aaron Rodgers this year. Like,
I don't like him.
So I gotta take him in the 6th round, guys.
I'm Aaron Jones and out.
and Dylan. I like both. I think they're going to run the shit out of the football this year.
I think they're
They
going
got
to have
great.
to.
They have a great. That defense is fucking stacked.
Yeah.
In a very non-offensive threatened, division outside of Minnesota. I mean, run. You're like 1 or 2 years away, Ryan. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm not drinking.
Actually,
Kool-Aid,
jerk
trust me.
off. I've been saying, dude, Lions are a dark horse playoff team this year.
Hey, great jumping off point. Lions beat reporter Tim Twentyman believes DeAndre Swift will be a big part of the passing game, which this is here to remind you that because a beat reporter reports something doesn't mean it's necessarily new. DeAndre Swift had an 18% target share last year,
It's fucking
57%
nuts.
opportunity share, and 78 targets. So just because he's reporting he's expected to be a big part of the passing game, Reed, that doesn't mean increase, and that's here to help you interpret coach speak. Because it's highly unlikely that DeAndre Swift sees more than 18% of the team's targets with Hawkinson, with the breakout of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and some of what they've added.
And he's still going at the 204. Like he is, if he's healthy, he's an RB1.
Yeah.
Like the amount of if they play, if people expect this team to be as bad as they were last year, it's a lot of playing from behind with an immobile quarterback. Swift, to the moon. I think he's almost guaranteed for 100 targets this year. That just propels him easily to that into that top 12 range.
Once Hard Knocks is over, he's definitely a first-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
I'm
doesn't
just
move
shocked that I'm just shocked that he's not there now. Like Javonte Williams is still going ahead of him. Javonte Williams it's RB13 at 112. You got
It doesn't make any
Swift.
sense.
Like how that RB13? I was like,
13?
how the fuck is that? It's not. I'm looking at all, but that just feels ass.
No,
He's the
but
RB9.
RB9, and
I mean, Swift is the RB10, but they're going 6. They're going 5 spots ahead of it. That's come on, guys. I mean, I expect this to be fixed. It's still only June. We're not in true redraft
We need more draft.
early season yet, but we do need more drafts.
it should, especially in PPR. Should
And
fix
Aaron Jones 209 feels. I mean, again, we can make another ADP episode. Like the running backs just feel right now feel great to go wide receiver early.
But have you seen the photos of DeAndre Swift?
Best
I
shape-
can pull one up.
Oh yeah,
Best shape of
best
his
shape of his
life.
life.
Oh man.
Carolina working on a trade for Baker Mayfield. Currently has the best offer on the table right now. Money is the hold up. Also, another report that states that both Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo could be released if trade partners aren't found. So for Carolina, you want to trade him, or not? Sorry, if you're Cleveland, you want to trade him before you release him.
All based on how much
Obviously, you got to recover something.
it's all based on how much money Carolina wants Cleveland to pick up from Baker's $18 million that he's due this year. That's really
Right, because they already have because they already have a 5th-year option on Sam Darnold.
they picked up. They make sure at the beginning of the season. Oh man, I love it. They're gonna have the best. They're just one Josh Rosen away from having.
You don't even have to pick up his 5th-year option.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, what's
Carolina
the 1-2
making the
fifth year?
best decisions.
God, I'm getting so tired of hearing this Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo speech. It's you never know what's going to happen. It's is this just news to get things going? Because it's that dead time right now. Because it's if the deal is there, what's really holding back the deal? How much money is holding back this deal from actually happening?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that hearing that it's close and that they have the best offer on the table is more substance than just the speculation that we've been hearing. I don't think money gets in the way of this. I think that if it's true, you're going to see a move within the next week.
They might be waiting for Deshaun Watson for news on how one happens with Watson too. They might be trying to wait and see what happens with him.
What, Cleveland?
Yeah, with them wanting to move Baker.
I don't think so.
Baker's not going to play for him regardless. So
I know, but
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. Browns are going to brown.
yeah, they are.
good. Fuck them.
If Baker does land in Carolina, we'll have more of a breakdown on what that means. Chiefs re-signed Jerick McKinnon to a 1-year deal. McKinnon looked actually very good for them in the playoffs. So it's worth noting, I think more so for redraft than anything else, I guess, in Dynasty if you want a bench stash. But he looked like their most explosive back during the playoff run. He was easily better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I don't think this is a nothing burger of late offseason signing either, given what McKinnon was able to do.
Yes, now you have the three-headed monster backfield of Clyde, Ronald Jones, and Jared McKinnon.
Don't forget Derek Gore.
Isaiah Pacheco. This has become a very crowded backfield of just people I don't give a shit about.
I think
I still think Clyde's going to start. I still think Clyde will get the first run of it. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how much the injury. We'll see how much of that recovery from him last year actually mattered to what he does this year.
McKinnon got more work.
I mean,
the way he's
all their running backs are decent value. I mean, they're not going very high.
Yeah, that kind of offense. So it's like, it's kind of hard. You'll be mad from last year, but you can kind of forget last year and like how he was injured. I think he'd be better off right now, especially the value you can get him at. You're not really spending that high draft capital on him because where's he going at?
I mean, right now it says he's going at the 402, but he's only been drafted 55 times over here in the past week.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we're at the. It's the peak. It's the Ron True. We're not quite there yet. For I think truly stated ADP. I think we're still seeing a bunch of goofy shit going on. But
I mean, I've been seeing fall like the 6th, 7th round range. That's where I'd be comfortable taking him at, and I think he'd actually start falling that far.
I can see him go further. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, we'll see. About a month from now, what these super early redraft mocks are going as we start seeing more and more people start pumping them out.
Yeah, because I mean, you have Cam Akers at 5'10". I'd rather have.
I mean, I see Leonard Fournette's going one spot behind him, which is good. There's no way that's real. I think that cannot be true. Like Fournette's not going to be a 4th round pick. Like he'll be. I think at some point he'll be a 2nd round pick in redraft.
Yeah, I mean, if Cam Akers is going at 5'10", I'd rather have Cam Akers. These two flip flops, then I'd feel better about it. Even Miles Sanders is 6'5". That's even a good deal.
78 scrimmage yards was the floor for McKinnon during the playoffs, by the way, with the Chiefs. He had a rough go on the ground against Buffalo, which Hoot didn't, but was still very valuable through the air in that game. So 10 or more carries each playoff game as well. So that's just kind of why I felt it was worth noting.
Oh, no, he should definitely be rostered. In Dynasty Leagues, he absolutely has to be.
Oh, yeah.
They just throw him on there. He should be, one of the first ones out, just depending on how the how the carries break down here and what we keep hearing through training camp and preseason.
Especially if he outshines Edwards-Helaire. And there's, a real possibility Edwards-Helaire struggles. So.
And he'll outshine Ronald Jones.
No problem.
Really worry about Ronald Jones or Derek Gore or Isaiah Pacheco.
Pacheco's going to be on the practice squad.
More than likely, yes.
Vic Taffer of The Athletic believes a bell cow rule is not on the table for Josh Jacobs in 2022. He suggested that Josh McDaniels is a moron. Actually, not in those words. He said that Josh McDaniels views Zamir White as a superior option. I just translated.
They'll be knocking Zamir White.
So what you're really saying is you don't want any part of this backfield.
That's what I'm really saying. If that's true, if they are going to go to a 3-headed monster, that I'm going to plant my flag on Drake, and whatever happens.
It's not like Josh Jacobs is being utilized in the passing game. I don't know how much of his role actually. We'll see. It's going to be a lot of shootouts out there in Vegas.
It's not like you brought in the guy that was orchestrating the Patriots offense and suddenly expected him to use a bell cow back either.
Right. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Clarence Hill of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram believes Tony Pollard could see more playing time as a slot receiver. This I like.
Not surprised, just given, Gallup's injury and just kind of, if they're going to bump CeeDee Lamb outside more with Cooper gone. I shocked it all.
Get him on the field and get the ball in his hands. He is a PPR sleeper. He's going to be a playmaker. Terry McLaurin not going to attend minicamp. Jahan Dotson is Wentz's top target in his absence. So that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody either. It's not Curtis Samuel that's the two here, and Logan Thomas is still out. So,
I mean, he's been a value. Like, he went at the 116 in the actual drafts, and he's been falling to the second round in rookie drafts like clockwork. Like, you don't have to love him as a prospect, but the guy's going to start week one.
mm-hmm.
And if this McLaurin thing reaches until the late off season or late into August, I mean, he still's got to get his own reps in with Wentz, get a brand new quarterback coming in. Like, it's looking at a little bit early value for Dotson if it pays off.
And he's going to be on the field, and that's the biggest thing for rookies. He's going to be on the field. It might not be high volume, and it might not be pretty at first, but there's going to be value there. Tom Brady stated Russell Gage will have to have a big year for the Bucs in 2022. Gage signed a 3-year, $30 million deal. Remember, Godwin likely to start the season on the pup. It's more of a redraft note. When you're starting to build your rosters in those late rounds, why not take a throw on a guy who's going to have to plug into wide receiver 2 duty to start?
Exactly. And going right now, he's going the 11:03, so it's like it's an easy dart throw on that one.
Yeah, and then you churn him.
Yeah. Especially when he starts taking off, it's like, go ahead and turn him. If you didn't get that running back like you thought you were going to get earlier, trade Russell Gage for him.
Yep. Because
I mean, you can get him in Dynasty League still. You can just pay a third and try to move up for a second. I mean, he's had his third blow up week in a row. Like you can do the same thing in Dynasty too.
Yeah, because he will be used, especially Gronk not re-signed yet. He will be used until Godwin's back.
He'll be on the field.
Lamar Jackson at Ravens minicamp. There's some questions about whether or not he'd report. Tyreek Hill was unhappy with the Chiefs because he was, quote, underutilized.
Yeah, bro. He just won you a fucking Super Bowl. Underutilized my ass, dude.
159 targets. What do you want? 200?
Right.
I'm so upset that there's a
you
better
mad
option.
That Travis Kelce got some balls there too? Or he also stated he felt Tua was more accurate than Mahomes. So I saw a lot of hate on that. I think from a pure accuracy perspective, probably. But Tua isn't going to do the things Mahomes does. He doesn't have the arm talent. He doesn't have the arm strength of the deep ball. But accuracy-wise, and just speaking from an accuracy perspective, yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he's going to a more yak-friendly offense with Mike McDaniels now, what he's brought over from San Francisco. Like, that whole offense in Kansas City was just Mahomes, do your fucking thing.
But does he think with Waddle and Gesicki? Because, I mean, the Chiefs were shallow at receiver. So does he think with Waddle and Gesicki, he's suddenly going to be the only guy getting targets?
They also paid Cedric Wilson. They signed a buttload of fucking running back.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's a team
not going to be Pats friendly. It's not going to be as Pats heavy as Kansas City is.
It's going to be run first.
But hey, he got paid.
He did get paid.
Fucking horrible trade and even worse signing.
He's going to be real mad by week 6, though.
He'll be swimming in a pool of cash. He won't fucking care.
Didn't stop other diva wide receivers.
Nope.
Sports Illustrated believes it's a matter of when, not if, Desmond Ridder earns starts for the Falcons, and Arthur Smith would not rule him out breaking camp as a starter per an April interview. Do we have a Matt Flynn, Russell Wilson thing brewing here? Or is this just hearsay and it's still kind of what we were talking about with, Pickett and Trubisky, except I think this one's more likely to happen that, the Falcons are eliminated and shit and they put Ridder in to get him some experience.
I mean, there's absolutely no fucking way that Atlanta makes the playoffs or in the playoff fun for a significant period of time. Just play Ridder. Like,
see what you got.
He's what, a 4-year start? Like, how much reps? Like, he's not Malik Willis playing for a shitty division, one team like Liberty, or like Trey Lance coming from a Division 1B. Like,
well, and
throw him out there and start.
And I hate to say it, but one of the things I was wrong about with Watson is I didn't like the talent at all, but the guy knew how to win, and that's one thing Ritter's done a lot of is win, and apparently to some degree that translates. So,
unless you're Colt McCoy, most wins in college football history. It's quarterback. But it's also Colt McCoy.
He was also in the Big 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chris Carson has not been cleared to practice. No timeline for his return. He should probably retire after seeing what that surgery was. Meanwhile, Rashad Penny back from a hamstring injury, and Kenneth Walker is missing minicamp with a hamstring injury.
That's not. Yeah, that's been the easiest avoid backfield. Just bad offense. If the rookie's already falling, he's gonna play at some point. But I'm very interested to see what his ADP shakes up to be.
I can't quit Kenneth Walker.
I thought you don't have to quit him. You can trade for him mid-season. Like there's going to be a lot of salty people on him. Seattle's going to be the shit show of the NFL, right alongside the Bears and the Falcons. Like probably the Texans.
Did you see that plate they put in Chris Carton's neck? Like that doctor on Twitter. It was like a plate and it had was it 6 screws, 3 on each side?
Yeah.
Like fusing his neck together. Like, oh.
That dude
I don't know how he'd even play.
Just retire.
Yeah.
Just retire.
Yeah.
That way he can still walk.
Choose health, Chris Carson. Choose health.
Please.
Patrick Mahomes has allegedly displayed a strong connection with Marquez Valdez-Scantling in OTAs. This is actually worth noting, too, because that wide receiver, position is kind of wide open. You brought in Juju, who hadn't recaptured his rookie magic with a failing Big Ben. Valdez-Scantling plays a little different. It's a different role, high-volume passing offense. The Chiefs are another team where, beforehand, I was thinking about this. Our knock on the Chiefs is always it was Hill and Kelsey, and if something happened to one of them, nobody picked it up. That was just it. I honestly think the Chiefs, while they might not have that top-end talent that Tyreek Hill is, have gotten deeper and better at wide receiver.
Yeah, like overall. Like
overall.
Receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I think the wide receiver room is better. And I think that, Sky Moore is obviously one of our favorite rookies and is getting a little overhyped, and people are going to be on Juju. Valdez-Scantling is going to be the forgotten guy in that offense, and I honestly think it's probably worth a dart throw.
All it takes is one highlight play. I mean, it's going to be I'm very intrigued to see how the wide receiver room shakes out. We know that Mecole Hardman is something more than a gadget player. He doesn't command targets as well. So your starting 3 really should be, with MVS playing the outside 9 role with Sky Moore as your flanker, and then Juju manning the slot. I mean, there's a lot here. Again, this offense is going to be throwing the football a shit ton.
And Kelsey could break the tight end record here.
Going to be a lot of someone's going off. MVS, it's just got to catch the football. Like, just got to catch the football.
Yeah, he was 95th in target quality too, so he's going to see a bit of an upgrade there.
95th?
Well. Yeah, it was not good. Surprisingly.
I know Rodgers has Rodgers has some struggle throws at some point, but I didn't think it'd be that bad.
Yeah,
some of those deep throws. I know.
Yeah, it was that bad on some of those deep throws. So, just something to pay attention to. He's 5th in yards per reception as well, so he fits the field stretching that they want to do. Great. Devontae Adams said Derek Carr's talent and ability are similar to Aaron Rodgers.
So, the wide receiver 1 again coming for him?
No.
159 wide receiver targets available now.
Oh.
In
Waller's
Vegas.
Renfro still there. Apparently, Zamir White, I guess, now supposed to be the god. Yeah.
Water boy?
Maybe. More water boy than that.
Hunter Renfrow signed 2-year, $32 million extension, 26, coming off of a big year. So good for him to get that bridge. If he keeps it up, he's going to get a bigger contract at the end of that one for 4 years.
And then retire.
Yep.
He's so old.
Yeah. Still younger than Cooper Kupp, so.
I know. It's funny.
Noah Fant having the most spectacular camp out of anybody per Pete Carroll.
Jesus Christ. I mean, she's probably having the worst camp. God, you can't trust a fucking thing Pete Carroll says.
It's just a jug machine throwing the balls to him.
How dare you call Drew Lock a jug machine?
It's Geno Smith. It's not even Drew Lock right now.
How dare you call Geno Smith the junk machine?
Chuck's machine's an upgrade over Geno Smith.
Junk machine's an upgrade over everything. They should literally just have. It's like Mike White back there anyway. It's like you don't need the junk machine to move.
Just throws.
Doesn't have to move.
Just with the number 12 jersey on it.
God, he throws it. Throws for
It's actually
his
gonna
sixth touchdown of the game. This is insane.
Seattle's just going to start the Jugs machine at quarterback and have Noah Fant go run to where the ball is going to be.
It's going to be Geno Smith just feeding the football.
Rolling it forward every time they get a first down.
Another completion by Geno Junkie Machine Smith.
It's really going to suck when the running back has to take a handoff from the Jugs machine.
It's going to be like Brett Favre throwing a check down. In a bullet to Kenneth Walker.
Rashad Penny has a hole in his chest. His expected 25th person comes out against Deshaun Watson in the coming days, by the way. So don't be surprised when that happens.
Peace.
And he's still not regretting any of it. He's like not sorry for any of it. From what
He's
I've been hearing.
he is so far gone. He thinks he's done nothing wrong. Like I don't ever expect him to admit he did anything wrong.
I won't even. Most people don't even have 66 massages in their life.
He had at least 66 in 17
in that one
months.
time period.
I have 65 to go. I'm 32 years old.
I'm probably in my 20s, but I dated a masseuse for a while. So I mean,
That's different.
yeah,
I did one massage and my shoulder locked up for 3 months and I never went back.
it's painful, man.
Yeah, right?
Especially if you're super tense and knots everywhere.
Maybe that's why he quit. He kept trying to find new ones. It hurt too much.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Give me someone else. Softer hands. All right. Some things from the internet. We're still in the heart of Dynasty season, and we're in full rookie draft mode. Give us your most rostered rookie so far.
We're just using the questions now.
I'm using one of your questions now, yes.
Okay. Oh.
Are we cracking into the six pack?
Oh, no, there's I don't know how many I put here. There's 8 There's 8 here.
Eight
There's
pack.
not 8.
No, I took 2 of your questions along with things that I pulled
was
off
like,
the
damn.
internet. Yeah, just I'll do the host stuff. You do the.
You were very like the bourbon must be hitting you pretty
I'll
well.
do the host stuff. You do the talking stuff. How about that?
I guess. Lose for the win-lose for
Hey,
the
Dance
for the
Monkey,
listeners.
give me your most rostered rookie.
Oh, mine? Rashad White. All day, every day. Back in the first, top in the second, when you're picking, back there because you do pretty well. But not me. I just do a lot of trades. Yeah, no, it's always Rashad White. He's got league winning upside if anything happens to Fournette. You got to love his skill set, size, athleticism, and the offense that fits perfectly well with what Tom Brady is right now. There's always going to be risk because Fournette's on that 3-year deal, and you may be tied to Brady that entire time, but like we could be witnessing the new Tony Pollard.
Ryan?
I'm looking at mine right now. Looks like my favorite one I've been always getting is Jameson Williams.
I thought you were going to say Zamir White. I'm very disappointed in you, Ryan.
I've only got one share of Zamir White this year. Every time I go to draft him, he goes like 1 or 2 picks ahead of me. I'm always like excited, like, yeah, I'm going to get him. And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Every time I click on Zamir White and I hit draft, it says, "Are you sure?" And I go, "Nah, I'm just playing sleeper."
It like moves the yes and the no backward, like around. You're like trying to click the yes, it's like nope.
But then I see David Bell and I go, "Yeah,
Smash it."
smash."
Yeah, like the Jameson Williams is like, all right. I mean, you're going to be taking them in the top 5, top 6. So in a way, like I look at that, like my team's not exactly playoff contender if I'm not doing trades right now or trying to do something throughout the year. So I'm more looking for like the 2023 guy. So that's kind of who I'm aiming for is him. Because I feel like, as we've already said before, like he's one of my top rookies for the future, not just this next year.
I'm John Mechie.
Yeah, you are. You are a team Mechie.
He's
All the
in
way.
the second and third round too. I seen him drop to the third round. I actually got him in the third round.
Yeah, and he's landing in Houston where we just talked about the opportunity that Dotson has. He's landing in Houston where there's also opportunity, a team that should have to throw the ball a ton. Brandon Cooks is liable to be a trade piece because he's not going to be hanging around for a rebuild. And Mechie was, look, he might have been slightly overshadowed at Bama. Not the most athletic, but he was still a highly productive college receiver. And he lands with opportunity, and he's cheap. He just seems to be falling to me like middle of the second round most of the time. And I'll take that, pretty much every day. It's not sexy right now, team-wise. It's a team that's going to, be in the running for a top quarterback next year. They have draft capital, thanks to the Watson trade, at least for now. Like I said, not a crowded room, and he should have some year one value with upside going forward. So big on Mechie.
You see that Golden Tate's going to play baseball now?
I did see Golden Tate he signed as an independent league team. He's playing center field.
Not good for him.
Yeah.
He's playing center field?
Yeah.
Man, old man got some legs left.
Well, yeah. All right. Why does it seem people? These are from just internet groups. Why does it seem people are out on Amon-Ra St. Brown? He's going to be a solid wide receiver too. Well, in my opinion, the reason it seems that people are out on Amon-Ra St. Brown is mostly because it's the Lions. I don't think it has anything to do with Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I don't know why people would be fading Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can be scared dynasty-wise because of, what they did in the draft and, the fact that he's not going to be the long-term one there. But, you do have Hawk, but the breakout was real and the floor is real, and I agree that he's going to be a solid wide receiver too. I don't really know of anybody that's fading Amon-Ra St. Brown necessarily. He's just, you spend your time talking about these high-end people. You don't normally talk about the guys that are going to have high floors. Because
I'm fading them.
Oh, yeah?
You're fading him?
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Well, you look at it okay, he had this breakout season, but it took, 13 weeks before he actually broke out?
He's a rookie.
Yeah, but still. But at the same time, Swift was injured, Hockenson was out, they had no true wide receivers. The whole entire team was already screwed up. They were already basically down in the drain because they already knew they had nothing else to play for. So 13, 14, all those weeks on through 18, he actually did something because he was all that was really left. And plus, he was a day 3 pick, which day 3 picks aren't supposed to hit like that, but he did. So it could be a one-year wonder, or I could be wrong.
I mean, if he was going on Gabe Davis's range, I think we'd be having a different conversation. But because he plays for the Lions, because I think he's been properly valued for the most part, outside of the early off season, like during the NFL playoffs, where people were so fresh on St. Brown as the wide receiver one during the playoffs, won a lot of people, a lot of championships and all those good stuff. I think now it's come down. They draft Jamison Williams. They bring in DJ Chark. They get Hawk back. They get Swift back. We know that Dan Campbell wants to be more of a balanced offense leaning to the run. I mean, I get why he is going where he is, but he's going in the 8th round right now. I expect him to go right around the same. He hasn't been – there's been no true hype to really bump him up. It's just how much is there going to be passing volume there for him? Yeah. And I think someone pointed out he had an 18% target share before Hawk and Swift went down. I don't expect Jamison Williams to be a big factor this year. I think it's more of a 23 play, but
well, and I don't think they expect him to be ready either by the time the season starts. And looking at St. Brown, he really broke out in week 12, but he gave you some solid weeks before that sustained breakout in week 12. And looking at some of the underlying stuff, 13th in receptions, 11th in yards after the catch, which is, that's pretty huge. He was getting high percentage targets and actually making good on them, which plays into the floor discussion. He was, let's see, where's his target separation? Because I'm pretty sure that was pretty good too. You're not going to give him a lot of cushion. He's not a deep threat. 7th in contested catch is also really, really good. So, everything that's there says that this is a guy, Dan, you like to reference Anquan Bolden. I think that this is a guy that can be that type of player out of the slot. And while, is he going to get 12 targets a game with Hawk and Swift healthy? Probably not. But Michael Pittman didn't either. And people like Michael Pittman, and I think the production can be very similar between St. Brown and Pittman.
I think, St. Brown's not going to also end the season on, 5-6 straight games with touchdowns?
Yeah.
He had 5 touchdowns in 6 games. He broke out week 13. He had 2 8-target games in weeks 4 and 5 against the Bears and Minnesota. Like there's clearly a role for him. We all knew there was going to be a role. No one expects him to be a double-digit per game guy.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's where he's properly being valued. This is not going to be a high-scoring offense.
If the contested catch rate stays good, though, that touchdown upside could absolutely hang out there.
If there's improvement in the offense, yes.
I think they figured out how to use him.
Well, I think he operated more out of the slot. It was a slot play with him as the only primary. Like I agree with Ryan at that sense. Yes, and but it's more so what we're going to see from the passing volume with everyone healthy. I don't know if St. Brown is going to be the primary read on most plays.
No, but he's going to be a safety blanket.
Or Swift or Hawk. They all operate in that. I think Swift has. Like I said, Swift has just as. I think Swift just has just as much upside to be, number 2, 3, or maybe I don't know about number 1, but could easily be, number 2 in this team in targets.
Keep fading him. I love players like this.
I ain't fading them.
They win you championships.
8th round, not much of a fade.
Right. Trade question. I thought this one was pretty intriguing. A.J. Brown and a 2023 third for DK Metcalf and a 2024 first.
Metcalf and 24 first.
It's the first that does it for me because I think Metcalf and Brown are actually pretty close.
I know people don't like to look that far out, but Metcalf and Brown are both. Brown's got to be more of the hype player right now, but Metcalf is still a very dominant talent.
And we lost Ryan.
You made him upset.
Because I disagreed with the St. Brown take?
You made him upset.
Totally.
Or he really, really hated that Brown and Metcalf
I almost asked if his face was frozen that way. And apparently it was.
He probably lost internet.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, it happens. He had a power failure.
Oh, that sucks. Well, hopefully that comes back. I'm on the Metcalf side, too. It's the first-round pick that does it for me.
Yeah. Yep.
Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook in Dynasty?
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. Receiving upside, younger player. Even though his contracts, he's about at the end of that, I would still take Cook with the receiving upside and the age.
Younger, receiving upside, a better offense, and less amount of work so far in his career.
Yeah.
Give me Dalvin Cook.
Indeed. IDP question. What are y'all looking for when drafting defensive players?
First, look at league settings. See how they score sacks and turnovers. See if it's balanced in comparison to tackles. I think it's 1.5, with sacks being around 4, interceptions ranging around 6. I think it's been the primary balanced high scoring setting. But I always like consistent linebackers who get a lot of tackles or box safeties. You can never fault an elite pass rusher, but for someone who's still a pretty novice player with IDP, there's nothing wrong with box stuffing inside linebackers.
Yeah, it's know where they project for me is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Know your league settings and know where they project. Know the scheme that the team that they went to is going to run and where they're going to plug in. If a guy's going to plug in as a middle linebacker, then you absolutely want that, especially if you're doing any form of a points per tackle, because they're going to be the most consistent productivity. It's a little bit inverse of what they do in the NFL draft, where pass rushers are king, because pass rushers in IDP they're splash plays, right? Just like interceptions are splash plays. You're not going to get most games a guy's not walking away with 3 or 4 sacks for 8 points, but a guy will walk away with 11 or 12 tackles if they're an elite tier, potentially an elite linebacker. So pay attention to that for your safeties. Are they going to play in the box? Are they going to be run support? If so, they're going to have more value than your ball hawks. And that's kind of what you're looking for there.
Yep.
That's where you're going to find value. Buying or selling Justin Fields? This is an Aaron Show question, actually, in that group. Are you buying or selling? And if you have Fields, are you...
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm still buying, yes.
And if you have Fields, are you trying to get out or are you holding?
No, you shouldn't try to get out. The value dipped a lot. I mean, I guess it's benefited that the rest of the QB class, outside of really Mac Jones, struggled last year, or just didn't play. But you should be buying Justin Fields. The offense should greatly improve next year. The team as itself should greatly improve with the amount of cap space that they've freed up by offloading all the contracts from this past season that's going to fall off next year. Combine that with another high draft pick. This should be a focus pick to help Justin Fields, whether it be to improve the offensive line or have him actually add some more pass catchers. I'm all in on Justin Fields, not for this year, obviously. In redraft, you don't need to draft them, but for Dynasty, you should absolutely be throwing feeler offers out there.
Yeah, the rushing floor is so high with Fields that I don't know how you just sell out of that. I mean, Jalen Hurts is not an exceptional passer, and you saw where he's being drafted. And if the Bears are gonna, use Fields more in a way that plays to his strengths and get him some supporting cast in the coming years, I think absolutely right now is a perfect opportunity to buy in low on him. And if you have him, you just hold.
Yep.
All right, which quarterback has the most to prove in 2022? Tagovailoa, Hurts, Wentz, or Daniel Jones?
I think Hurts. With Philadelphia having that second first-round pick from New Orleans, I think there's a lot on the line with Philly. They've done a great job with surrounding him with the pieces by really rebuilding the offensive line, rebuilding the defense. Two would probably finish second, but I think Hurts has the most to prove, has the most to lose. He needs to have another. He needs to basically take this team back to the playoffs, and you hope to see not a Josh Allen type of ascension as a passer, but something along the lines that there's been significant growth. They go out there and they trade for AJ Brown. There's similarities to point when you look at Hurts and Allen and how the teams are trying to surround their their quarterback with a lot of upside, with a lot of athletic upside, with a lot of athletic talent.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the guy that's tied to the hip. I don't mean that as a bad joke, of Jalen Hurts. That's Tua. I think with them signing Cedric Wilson and trading for Tyreek Hill and, bringing in an offensive-minded head coach and doing what they've done with the running game, the onus is going to be on Tua to really execute this offense and prove he can be a little bit of a game manager plus and make good on all those pieces that they've given him. They were looking at the quarterback spot as a potential upgrade. They didn't do it. They had a weak quarterback class. He's got another chance to prove that he's, starter level in the NFL. And I think that he's really got to run with that opportunity with what they've put around him and the infrastructure that they've given him. Because if he does not, then they're going to be right back in the quarterback market and looking to replace him, and that's probably the end of the rope for him. Daniel Jones is on a rebuilding team, and Carson Wentz is on like his fourth life, and also probably close to done. I'm not interested in what Carson Wentz does or doesn't prove. I think we know what he is, and it's a journeyman. And Daniel Jones, they've failed to build around him. So there's still the built-in excuses. I agree that. Hurts, they've also given him things, but I think nobody's in a better position to succeed right now than Tua, and if he fails to, then he's going to wear that.
I think both Hurts and Tua are in equal positions to be successful. Both teams had strong endings to last year. The Eagles made, the playoffs given how poor the NFC was as a conference, and the NFC East as a division. And then they go and they make the same decisions, just like with Tua, as you just mentioned, with all the wide receivers that they added. You see Philadelphia continue to make those strides. But I agree, Wentz has come to grips with who he is. Jones, like Tua, has a full regime change, not regime change, but has a coaching staff and a new GM We know Daniel Jones's days are numbered. Like there's going to be some coach speak, some upside to it. I think there's some fantasy value to Jones, but he's not going to be the starter after this year.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to run you back through what we talked about just to see where you land. Ready? We're going to rapid fire this.
Go for it.
AJ Brown in a 2023 third for DK Metcalf in a 2024 first. Which side?
I still want to hold DK right now.
Yep. It's Metcalf in the first for me. Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook in Dynasty?
Bruh.
Yeah, that's a hard. Like, if I'm winning now, I want Cook.
I want Cook regardless.
In what world would you want Derrick Henry over Dalvin Cook?
There's a scenario where I want Henry.
Metcalf or Dalvin
No.
Cook.
Oh, God. Bruh.
Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook?
We're about to give you another power failure. Hold on.
It's always Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, sorry. My speakers are breaking in and out on that one. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Dalvin Cook on that one for sure.
We talked philosophy when drafting defensive players. We basically just said look at league scoring settings, and then, you're going to want if it's any form of points per tackle, you're going to want to know how these guys slot in. Look at your middle linebackers. Look at your box supporting safeties. Anything to add there?
Yeah, just whoever gets the most tackles is usually who I end up going for.
That's about how I do it, too. Are you buying or selling Justin Fields?
Holding right now, because I'm just kind of curious to see what he's going to do.
So okay.
If he can do what he did against the Browns, and that can actually continue on like more through halfway through a season, then you can see a progression going on. Like this whole like giving up after 1 year, I can't do it yet.
Yeah, we were both in the buy or hold if you have him. So
yeah,
because
don't sell him. Just
don't sell.
Don't trade him. Just don't trade him.
And then the last question that you came back on was which quarterback has the most to prove in 2022? Tua, Hurts, Wentz, or Daniel Jones?
Wentz and Daniel Jones have the most to prove.
Both
of them are like right in their last year. I feel like
I went with Tua because I think that they've because I think that given the infrastructure and the pieces the Dolphins have put around him, he has to show that he can excel with that. They're looking at replacing him this year. They didn't do it because the market just, wasn't good to go get a quarterback. But, I think that he has to show that he is not the weak link on this team, given them bringing in Tyreek Hill, adding Cedric Wilson, and bringing in an offensive-minded head coach and building up that running back core. He's got to prove he can run that offense, and if not, he's going to be gone.
Yeah, that could be. But, I mean, like another scary one is like Jalen Hurts in that one because they have the 2 first-round picks. Philadelphia does.
It's like he was here, but he wasn't here. That's I said Hurts because of that same thing. I think with the improvement of the team overall, trading for AJ Brown and having a second 23 first and a loaded QB class next year, it's playoffs or bust for Hurts, and you have to see. You only see Josh Allen levels of improvement from year 2 to year 3, but you need to see some. Winston Jones, I think people know that they're gone. I think they know. There's no way I see Brian Dabble looking at Daniel Jones going, yeah, that's my dog. Like, there's no fucking way I would be that excited to see Daniel Jones as my starting quarterback.
Yeah.
The big news today, Devin Funchess still in the NFL, guys.
Devin Funchess, tight end.
Tight end for your Detroit Lions. Ryan, do you have any hard hitting analysis on Devin Funchess, tight end?
He hasn't played since like 2019.
Yeah. Feels like
he
yesterday.
Really played that year.
Right? So it's like, okay.
Some say he's still running the route he ran last time.
It was a 9 route. He's finally at the 30-yard line.
I'm open.
Jug machine throws to him.
Damn Seattle quarterbacks. He's in the best shape of his life for his position.
I love it.
Because they moved him to tight end.
Yep.
All right. Trying something new here. Describe one of your dynasty leagues with an alcoholic drink. One of your rosters. Compare it to an alcoholic beverage. Dan.
All right. I won't give my example. We're gonna go with one of my championship teams that won the ship last year. Is a 14 teamer, feels very, very strong. So this is to me my EH Taylor single barrel, which is right now still my favorite bottle that I've ever had. And I'm looking at this roster, it just gives me all the positive vibes.
All right, for me, I'm going to go with my Dynasty roster in your league. It's Bourbon Week. I'm going to compare it to an old-fashioned because this thing has a lot of good stuff in it. There's layers to it. It's not one-dimensional at all. You get the old-fashioned, you get the aroma, you get the bourbon, you get a slight sweetness from the simple syrup, and everything's enhanced. And this roster is not... one you had the emergence of Cooper Kupp, but it's not one that was built to necessarily have a superstar. It was built for all the flavors and all the pieces to play really nicely together and become better than the sum of its parts because of how deep it is. And that's exactly kind of what the old-fashioned is to me. It enhances everything. Every ingredient in it is enhanced by the other ingredients that are in it, combining to create the perfect cocktail, not just because it's National Bourbon Day. And that's what this roster does for me. Top to bottom, it is not loaded with superstars, but it is loaded with a lot of very good players. So, not one-dimensional at all. That was the team that went.
I know the team.
Yeah, it had one loss in the regular season last year.
Which was, I think, week one.
Yeah, week 1.
And then he lost in the first week of the playoffs.
Second.
That is the worst.
Second, I was on bye the first week. I couldn't
No,
lose.
that's right.
Didn't lose on my bye week.
Yeah. When I get fired on your day off. Ryan, don't be shy now.
I'm super shy. Well, first I lost my first computer. I can't get it back on right now because of the power outage. So waiting for that to pop back on. I got a nice team here. I compare it to more like a nice summer 7-7, drink. Nice Canadian whiskey, 7-Up. It just goes smooth. It's not the best team and it's not the worst team, but it's very well balanced off.
Is this your CFL Dynasty League team?
Yes, it is.
Too many Alouettes on that team.
No, it's a good balance. It's not like the best quarterbacks or wide receivers. Well, never mind. I take that back. Yeah, it is. I got Justin.
Just kidding, guys. Humble break.
Beer review.
All right, Dan.
All right, again, I had Reserve Brewing. This is they're out of Galesburg, Illinois. Open since I think June. This is their Belgian double. You get that nice kind of rich caramel toffee-esque sweetness to it. Little light in body, but you still get a lot of the full flavors to it. Aromas give off this, similar vibes of toasted, of just a toasted toffiness to it. Very rich in caramels. I'm a bit surprised from a newer brewer that's able to put forth a beer that's I think pretty damn good. It is it's a compliment to what he's done. Expect him to continue to improve, and I'm excited to see what he continues to put out, especially if he keeps dabbling into the European and kind of the true old school style of beers.
Ryan.
I had Voodoo Rangers Juice Force IPA, comes in at 9.5%. It's nice because it's like a nice orange beer, like citrus beer. So goes down smooth. You kind of feel like the bitterness to it a little bit when you're just drinking it. As soon as it hits the tongue, you kind of feel like that tingly. But then once it hits the back of your throat and sets a little bit, you definitely catch the citrus side of it. So it's very good. It hit you very hard too, because these go down pretty smooth also.
All right, and for me with the Slaw's 8-year, it does. You can definitely tell the age on this one when compared to the the 3 years. So Laws has this nice like bready, doughy type note to it, and it maintains that, but it's not nearly as grained forward as this one's younger brother is. So those notes are still there, which is good because it's one of the unique characters about it. But this one adds a nice, some nice fruity notes at the front, almost like fruit pie, to go along with some of those doughy notes. It adds a nice layer of oak and like white pepper and some dry baking spice there in the middle that doesn't make it overly sweet. It starts to get sweet with that fruit, and then that all comes in and levels it out. And then on the finish, you actually get some cinnamon notes, almost like it's like a mild Red Hot, if you will, like the Red Hot's candy, but toned down a bit. Just kind of a nice, like subtle cinnamon flavor that carries it out. It's a well balanced bourbon that starts off doughy and sweet and ends up with a bit of cinnamon spice to it. It stays towards the dessert side, but has a lot more balance and a lot more depth than what the younger variant does, and I definitely think it's worth the price tag. Which for me, that was free. Thanks again, JT. So
Then it's always worth the price tag if it's free.
some things aren't. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Beerfield Podcast, everywhere you find podcast, and including YouTube. I am at Beerfield Hop with 2 P's. At Beerfield on Twitter. Dan Thury is at Beerfield Thury. Ryan Miner at Ryan Miner _FFP. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Enjoy your Tuesday night or Wednesday morning.
Enjoy your week. We will see you next week. Maybe. Bye.